is Gaurav Garg, and in this video, I'm going to present my final graduate project for CSCI E-7 Introduction to Programming with Python. In this project, I'll create data visualizations for a tax audit dataset from my workplace, and I'm using Python, Pandas, Plotly, and Cufflinks libraries to achieve the metrics and the visualizations. My objectives for this project are to load the data set from a CSV file and then run some key statistics on the audit data set using Python and Pandas, and then generate data visualizations using Plotly and Cufflinks. I'd like to answer from my data set how many, it's basically an audit data set. So the key metrics would be how many audits are created each year, how many are closed and protested each year, which tax returns get most audited, which state is auditing us the most, the beginning and ending inventory for the audits each year, and the average time taken to close the audits. So let's get into the code. I start by importing the supporting libraries, and I'm using Plotly and Cufflink online. Cufflink connects Plotly to the iPlot method in the pandas data frame. It's convenient. We can plot graphs directly from a data frame. The first thing I do is I load the CSV using the read CSV function on the provided by pandas. It returns a data frame. I then create another data frame, and this time I only select the columns that I need. Data frame is a data set with rows and columns with an additional index column, and this is provided by pandas. So here is our data frame. The first column is the index column, followed by the six columns I selected from my CSV file. The first column is when the audit is created, followed by a unique audit ID provided by the system, the current status of an audit, the tax return or the tax type that we are getting audited for, the state that's auditing us, and if the audit is closed, the date, if the date for the date when the audit was closed. So I also add two columns. I don't want these are annual reports. So I drop the time portion and I create two index columns on the year, the start year, and the close year for each audit. We have our data set ready. Let's get into some plotting here. So Cufflinks connects Plotly to the iPlot method in the data frame. So I'm executing the iPlot method on the data frame object by selecting the column year created and just counting the number of audits for each year when the audits are created. And as you can see, I get a beautiful chart in Plotly. It's interactive, and I can see that there were 356 audits opened in 2012. Try to do I can do better and try to do the audit counts by how many audits are open, closed, or protested each year. So this was another iteration. You get a beautiful interactive bar chart and the legend here. And another thing that the users asked me to give a visual was, what tax type do we get audited for the most? And here I now use the aggregate functions, a group by function provided by pandas on the data frame object. I group on the tax type and I count the number of audits, and I generate a bar chart. So here you can see that we most of the audits are for the sales and use tax and the gross receipts tax. I also went ahead and plotted which state is auditing us the most. So now I'm grouping on the jurisdiction and I'm counting the audits per jurisdiction. And you can see from the visual that New York is the state that has most of the audits open with us. We have 364 audits from New York. Um, Another thing the users asked me to do was to calculate the beginning and ending inventory for each year. So the way I did it is I cleaned up the data. I only used like three columns, and then I created a custom columns for beginning inventory, ending inventory, and total. And the trick here was that the ending inventory from previous year will be the beginning inventory for the next year. So I'm able to give that. And then last but not least, I also went ahead and calculate the average time taken to close an audit. The limitations for this kind of solution, I mean, a dashboard would have been a better solution. So I'm going to look for, there's an application called Dash from Cloudly. I'll try to look at that next and also look into some predictive analytics. Thank you, and I hope you liked my video.